Guys, welcome to your energy update of the weekend, and we start this weekend in some more of this very difficult Chiron energy. Could be very emotionally charged, could have us feeling very vulnerable, insecure, really coming face to face with perhaps some of these unhealed traumas or wounds within us, maybe very defensive. People are likely to be acting very defensive in the energy on Friday as we start our weekend. Although you guys have hope, because by the time we get to Sunday, the vibe should change dramatically, and this immersement sort of in these past emotions or these past wounds or these past traumas or these feelings of vulnerability or insecurity that might be coming up, we are likely to be much more future oriented and working towards seriously considering what we can do to move ourselves forward by the time that we get to Sunday. So vibe shift going on over the course of the weekend, you guys. How we start in the energy on Friday is probably not how we're going to be feeling in the energy on Sunday. Probably a lot more optimistic as we move out of the Mars Chiron square that has characterized a lot of the energy that we've been dealing with this week. So all of that being said, you guys, let's get into our report for the weekend. Let's look at Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, the 28th through the 30th, closing out our month of April coming up here, and see, how things are playing out on an energetic level and how they might be impacting our experience on the ground this weekend. Welcome back to my channel, you guys. Today is Friday, April 28th, 2023. My name is Aubrey. This is your astrological outlook of the weekend. In this video, we are going to look at the energy breakdown as we have it coming through Friday the 28th through Sunday the 30th, and just try to get a better understanding of what things might be looking like for us this weekend, of course, in the greater context of our transition into the age of Aquarius, because that's what we do on this channel, is we look at these days on this microcosm level in the context of this unfolding cosmic blueprint that is currently transitioning us into the age of Aquarius. So what's happening on a day-by-day basis that is causing these subtle shifts and changes that are ultimately leading us to this new golden age that we are heading towards. So that's what we're doing, and we are looking at the last weekend in the month of April. We are closing out our month of April, very Chiron oriented month of April. If you guys missed my video for yesterday, for Wednesday and Thursday, actually, I was talking all about Chiron, all about the hero's journey, all about the Chiron archetype. Also did that in my video for the overview for the month of April. So you might want to check those out as well, because we're really focusing in, especially to start the weekend on Friday, on these Chiron themes, these Chiron archetypes. Again, Chiron is the wounded healer, teacher, master archetype. When we have experiences or when we are operating under an activated Chiron energetic, a lot of times it brings us face to face with some type of victimization or trauma or wounding, but it is so that we can go through this process of actually learning how to break ourselves out of any cycles or patterns or karmic cycles, even generational cycles that have led to our susceptibility to that trauma, to that wounding, so that we actually free ourselves from that experience in the future and no longer have to go through these cycles of victimization as we come to a place of self-mastery, essentially, and conscious evolution, where we can begin co-creating our experiences with God and universe in a way that makes us, again, much less susceptible to these lower vibrational experiences, which are really just there to teach us how to free ourselves from experiencing these lower vibrational experiences. So, in the greater context of our transition into the age of Aquarius, the Chiron archetype, the hero's journey, and everything that represents is like a fundamental of this frequency-based energetic transition that we are in. And it's playing a major role in a lot of our experiences right now. And also at this point in time, in this particular month, end 2023, which is a very transitional year in our shift of the ages process, all of this heavy Chiron influence is activating a lot of us on that frequency-based level, either to finally come to the point of being ready to go through this inner alchemization and release ourselves from these cycles, or bringing us into contact with the wounding or with the trauma or with the experience that is meant to kick off that journey, which will ultimately culminate in us liberating ourselves from that cycle of karmic law. Okay, so very important archetypal themes and energetic experiences being indicated when we have the Chiron influence so heavily activated. This whole week we have had Mars in a square to Chiron. I mean, Mars is the lord of the battlefield, Mars's rage and violence and aggression, and it's also, though, the spiritual warrior. Chiron was the teacher of all the great heroes. So Mars and Chiron, even though they're in the square, even though it's like a cardinal square too, cardinal signs, Cancer where Mars is, Aries where Chiron is, Cancer cardinal signs are action-oriented signs, things are happening. But you know, the relationship between Mars and Chiron is all about teaching and growth and self-mastery and learning to become our own hero, okay? So, well, this energy may have been provoking perhaps some of these more difficult emotional experiences, or just, you know, again, these feelings of vulnerability, insecurity, being like hyper defensive and very just like emotionally sensitive about things. The flip side of that energy is, you know, we're also learning how to master the lower dimensions of ourselves and release ourselves from ego attachments, and how to find that silver lining in these more negative and traumatic experiences that have gone on, so that we can find the gratitude that comes as a result of what we actually gain through whatever negative experience we perceive ourselves as going through. Because a lot of times, you know, growth comes through difficulty. Through going through the difficulty, we gain this growth, we gain this awareness, we gain this courage, we gain this strength, we gain this innate power. And if we can look at that, and if we can find gratitude for what we've gained through our suffering, that is essentially like the golden key or the golden ticket that helps us to break free from these karmic cycles or this subconscious programming that may have set us on the journey for that experience in the first place. So, you know, back to where we're at, and all of this Chiron coming through, Mars, the spiritual warrior, like it is, this energy is pushing us to be our own hero, okay? To be our own knight in shining armor, to be our own savior, and to, on this conscious, you know, spiritual level, go through this inner alchemization and pull ourselves out of this self-sabotaging, ego-based or lower instinctual-based operating mode, perhaps of the past, that had been the dominant force in our experiences and in the creation of our reality. As universe, as we are transitioning into the age of Aquarius, wants us to start consciously creating from this place of greater like conscious awareness, okay, and playing a more conscious role in the manifestation process in our experience. Because moving into the age of Aquarius, that has a lot to do with how things come into being. This is an empowerment of the individual, and therefore empowerment of the collective, of humanity. So we are learning some very important lessons, and we have been. But, you know, especially with this very Chiron-oriented month, this April, basically start to finish. We started the month with the sun in a conjunction to Chiron. We are ending the month with Mars in square to Chiron. We also have this black moon energy going on. So we're leveling up, you guys. This is also a massive emotional release with Saturn having been in a trine to the south node. Saturn's still in a trine to the south node, although it is no longer exact, and us being in eclipse window and moving towards this full moon lunar eclipse in Scorpio with the south node that we have coming up. Like, it's a purge. We are purifying ourselves on a soul level, and it is preparing us to move forward in this new direction in alignment with the new reality that we are creating for ourselves based on the more authentic truths that we are discovering regarding ourselves at this point in time. So all of that being said, I'm going to talk specifically now, you know, let's get into the details of Friday as it's coming through. Again, this is day 2 of this energy on Thursday, the 27th. That is when Mars came into the exact square to Chiron in the sign of Aries, which is ruled by Mars. And we also had the moon in the sign of Leo forming an opposition to Pluto, really sort of intensifying things, because the moon is ruling the placement of Mars right now in the sign of Cancer, right? So this could just definitely have been a very deep, sort of intense and like turbulent, tumultuous, emotional type of day. And we're in that again on Friday. Not much has changed. We are in day 2. You know, it takes Mars approximately 2 days to move a degree in the sky. So Mars is still at the same degree he was yesterday, although a bit further along in the exact square to Chiron. So this energy is hold out for today. We're still in the exact square, day 2 of Mars and Chiron, and we're also still in black moon energy. The moon is in the sign of Leo today. Whenever the moon goes into the sign where the black moon is, or the sign opposite the black moon, this is going to trigger and activate the black moon energy. Black moon, this is our shadow side issues, our fears, our worries, our insecurities, our doubts, a lot of those unresolved, unhealed issues that are held within like the deep recesses of our psyche, or like deep within us that we don't even necessarily realize that are they're there, but are often very responsible for the karmic patterns and the cycles that we find ourselves perpetuating, that the Chiron archetype, okay, seeks to help us transcend, transmute, alchemize out of. So Black Moon energy and Chiron energy are kind of, you know, one and then the other, or they kind of like work together in this very fascinating way, and they're both very activated in the field right now, but they both also can have a lot to do with just these more difficult emotional experiences going on. So I do feel like, as I've said, this Chiron Mars square with this strong dose of Black Moon on top of it, a very reactive defensive energy we could be seeing. Don't be surprised if people are acting very defensive about things, because honestly, they're feeling vulnerable, like almost painfully vulnerable and maybe insecure as an underlying like root cause of this production or of this defensiveness or of this just generally like ugly stuff that might be coming out. And especially if they're feeling threatened in any type of a way, people feeling insecure, people feeling vulnerable, and therefore more likely to attack or be on the defensive, defend their position if they sense a threat in any way. Just because it's coming at us from a couple different ways. And with Mars and Cancer, this is a sign of the moon. This is our feelings, this is our emotions, this is our internal environment. And then the moon also, you know, sparking up this Black Moon energy, these fears, these worries, these insecurities, these doubts. Yeah, it's definitely just this recipe for being sort of like hyper defensive about any type of perceived or whatever threat. And remember, we also have Mercury retrograde right now. And this is where things get even a tad more sticky in the energy on Friday, because the moon in the sign of Leo, right? Leo's a fixed sign. We have Mercury just stationed retrograde in the sign of Taurus, which is another fixed sign. And the energy on Friday, that moon in Leo will be forming a square to Mercury retrograde in the sign of Taurus as well. So there could be a lot of like misunderstandings or miscommunications or misinterpretations, or just things like lost in translation, not clear, not coming through, just like being not on the same page, like just scrambled thought streams or whatever that are actually in a way maybe contributing to this sense of insecurity or to this sense of just like vulnerability, these raw emotions. An inability to communicate our thoughts clearly. This is also bringing up a conflict between the moon, which is our emotions, which is already in this conflicted kind of place this weekend, or at least to start the weekend on Friday, and Mercury, which is our mind, which isn't thinking clearly. So it's almost maybe like some backward thoughts that we're having, or some like unclear thoughts that we're having are creating this emotional conflict, or, you know, something to do with what we're hearing or what we're talking about, or like what we're focusing on at odds in some type of a way with, you know, what we're feeling, or what is also giving us like a sense of comfort. The moon will also be forming a square to Uranus. This could also bring in the Uranus, Mercury, and the sun on Friday, and just right now generally in the sign of Taurus, ruling our comfort and our comfort zone. So there could be upsets to comfort zones going on Friday too. So just generally, we may just not feel like we're on the most stable, sturdy ground, and there could just be a lot of anxiety and sort of like fears or insecurities, again, vulnerabilities coming up and driving some like just not the prettiest actions by people. We want to proceed with care in the energy on Friday, care for ourselves, care for others, and see through that maybe more ugly behavior to, right, the root of it, which is this fear or this insecurity or this pain that is sort of like, you know, festering there, and like we're really feeling it. Because remember, we are in this time of this like cathartic release, okay, this soul purge and purification. So a lot of this stuff is coming up, or we're seeing it, or we're feeling it maybe like for the first time after we haven't in a while, or we're just we're just kind of maybe immersed again, or like merged with some of these just more difficult feelings, but it is ultimately for the purpose of us clearing them or overcoming them or releasing them, letting them go in some capacity or another. So this is ultimately a very healing energy, right? Chiron is the wounded healer, okay? It's for the purpose of bringing some type of healing. And the Black Moon also wants to help us gain insight, gain a sense of awareness into where we're holding ourselves back or sabotaging ourselves through whatever is unhealed within us. So all the like arrow signs, like flashing red lights, maybe in the energy on Friday to like, what our problem is, what is unhealed within us, what patterns we keep perpetuating, and, you know, why this could have a lot to do with the past as well. Could be a major focus on, emotionally at least, on things, situations from the past that have caused some type of wounding to go on within us that has put us in the situation where we're at now. So themes of being victimized or being a perpetrator also of some type of victimization could be very, very prominent again in the energy on Friday with this Chiron highlight and also the black moon energy. Energy is creating scenarios to break us through these lack and victim mindsets, or on the flip side, as I said earlier, setting up scenarios of suffering, which will ultimately lead to the overcoming of these states of victimhood and lack and breaking through these karmic cycles. So ultimately, soul growth is the whole MO right now of universe, like, in, I feel like a quickening, you know, like a more profound way than maybe typically happens coming through on like a frequency based level, just because we are at this shift and transition right now. And like, we need, it's like a turning point, you know, like we need to make things happen. So there is a speeding up in the like karma, in the need to learn these lessons. It's like, you know, where in other periods of time we may have like hundreds of years or lifetimes to learn certain soul lessons in order to evolve in a way to like move everything forward to expand universe according to the proper like blueprint. It's like all of that is condensed right now. And so it's like what normally may take very long periods of time or in one lifetime or multiple lifetimes to break through or to gain awareness of or to learn a lesson, like we're doing it all now. So that also is why, you know, things are to a great extent how they are in these current moments. It's all about this push and this rebirth to transition us in this frequency based level and like us becoming an embodiment and a reflection of the new frequencies that are coming in right now. So, you know, both ways, either way, you know, healing is the ultimate outcome, contributing to soul growth, conscious evolution. Universe is always wanting to expand. And right now it's just a very expansive point in time because we are in this transitional moment in this greater unfolding of things. We also have some guidance coming through in terms of the Sabian symbols on Friday that are telling us, and I'll read these symbols in a minute, but overall, you know, we need to focus on our gifts and on our blessings, which we do have in abundance if we can look and discover them within us in a more authentic way. Okay, we need to cultivate gratitude in this energy as we work towards this self-healing, this self-growth, and this self-mastery, which is the key to unlocking our, honestly, like trajectory towards true purpose and true fulfillment going forward. We have the sun at 9 degrees of Taurus and the energy on Friday. That Sabian symbol is a Christmas tree decorated. And we also have Jupiter at 26 Aries, a man possessed of more gifts than he can hold. So we've got a Christmas tree decorated, which Christmas is notorious for bringing gifts and blessings. Then we've got Jupiter, the Santa Claus planet, talking about in the sign of Aries, where Chiron is right now. This wisdom that we've gained through experience is also a very important key in unlocking the self-healing that is necessary right now to move us forward. But anyways, a man possessed of more gifts than he can hold. We've got a Christmas tree and we've got more gifts than we can hold. We need to focus on the gifts. We need to focus on the blessings and not what we don't have, not the lack, and not what is not waiting for us to open. Okay, this is more that future focused, have hope because better times are coming, things are waiting for us energy. The earth is at 9 degrees of Scorpio on Friday, a dentist hard at work, and Venus is at 21 degrees of Gemini, a tumultuous labor demonstration. So, you know, things are being realigned, things are being fixed. It's not necessarily an easy job, right? But we have got to work towards it. We have got to cultivate gratitude, and we are working towards the self-mastery. We are maybe rebelling or distancing or changing ourselves from what we used to succumb to and the places and the people and the situations that used to steal our power in the past, as we recognize these gifts and these blessings that we hold within us and work to cultivate and develop those with a strong sense of gratitude as well, coming through with the whole like Christmas, more gifts than he can possess things. We are being cleansed and purified on a psychic and emotional level in this energy as well. As I said, with all this South Node, Saturn, Karma energy going on simultaneously, we're also in eclipse season, which Taurus Scorpio, where we're at, and closing out this Taurus Scorpio eclipse axis, ecliptic as well. This is also like the final cleansing, okay, that is detaching us from these past pains and toxic emotional attachments that have been blocking or stealing our power or potential, or prohibiting us from seeing the gifts and the potential and the blessings that we have within. Again, this could be a very Mercury retrograde oriented day, with the moon coming into the square with Mercury, also the square to Uranus. We've got a moon forming a square to Uranus. This can bring emotional upsets, but Uranus and Mercury, I will tell you, Mercury retrograde is activated by the moon and Uranus also, and the sun all weekend. And we start the weekend with the square, but we finish the weekend with the moon in Virgo forming the trine to Mercury retrograde and Uranus. So any maybe like issues or problems that come up in the energy on Friday could naturally find their solution or the remedy in the energy on Sunday. So don't, freak out. We just got to make it through this period of time. And then we are also moving towards Uranus season, because Uranus is currently in the sign of Taurus. We are rapidly approaching Taurus season. The sun is going to be coming into a conjunction with Uranus over this next couple of days. And this is the season of shocking realignments and things getting put right. So we have got exciting pending changes underway as well. But just realize there could be this internal conflict going on today between thoughts and feelings as a result of the moon squaring Mercury retrograde. This could also be causing, again, some like internal irritation, a desire to maybe liberate ourselves or free ourselves from something, to do something new and different, to think about things a different way, to like try something we've never tried before. So that type of thing coming through as well. Now, let's move into the energy on Saturday, because on Saturday, we do get some relief from the entire week, sort of, and I'm much more like looking forward to talking about the energy for Saturday and Sunday. Now, the Mars-Chiron square breaks apart in the energy finally on Saturday. We've been building into this energy for quite a while, and now Mars is moving on. Although we are still only in a 1-degree orb, Mars-Chiron square, this is a separating square, and this energy is beginning to break. Tension is beginning to break, and the moon is leaving the sign of Leo as well on Saturday, so deactivating this black moon energy and entering the sign of Virgo, which is a positive placement for the moon right now because of these Taurus planets. Virgo Earth sign, Taurus Earth sign. We're setting up trines now. We're going from squares that the moon was forming alongside the square and this black moon energy to a trine to these Taurus planets and the nodes, which is a facilitating, assisting, helpful aspect. And it takes, the conflict, brings it down a notch, and actually helps facilitate solutions. So whatever has been going on this week, over this past couple days, likely to get some relief on an emotional level coming through as we get into the energy on Saturday. Whatever's gone on the past couple days, we are seriously reflecting on, though. There is a more somber attitude, I will say, because when the moon does leave Leo, it will enter Virgo. Remember, we have Saturn in early Pisces, so the moon will begin to form an opposition to Saturn, but also a trine to the North Node right now, which has been so active lately in the sign of Taurus. So there may be like a need to be more serious, to be more pensive, sort of, to be, just maybe more responsible or more like mature about our approach to things in regards to whatever we've gone through over this past couple of days. But it is definitely about like, okay, I'm ready to start forming some structures or lay some new foundations, or start like putting in some practical work to move myself forward in this new direction towards these goals or plans or projects or whatever I feel like I want to be working towards at this point in time. So whatever has gone on this past couple days, we are in the energy on Saturday likely reflecting on what we know now and how we feel about it and what needs to be done to move ourselves forward in a productive, practical, realistic, and positive direction. The moon, again, is going to be triggering the Mercury retrograde energy on Saturday and Sunday because we have a Virgo moon going on. On Sunday, actually, the moon in Virgo will be forming a trine to Mercury. This is a very strong Mercury retrograde activation, but just having a Virgo moon being ruled by Mercury, Mercury retrograde is a very dominant force throughout the course of Saturday and Sunday as well. And Mercury retrograde, the moon in Virgo, this is looking for facts, information, information, research, a second view, a second opinion on something, and also practical solutions that we can use to help move ourselves forward and lay these new foundations, or create something, or solve something in a way that can help us be more tangible and practical about the way that we are using our energy moving forward somehow. Also, this is very much dissolving, again, these past emotional blocks and limitations to our ability to start building something new. We have Saturn, which is blocks and boundaries and limitations in the sign of Pisces. This dissolves things. Pisces erodes, dissolves, breaks things down. And then Saturn is aspecting the nodes, and we're also going to have the moon aspecting the north node, Saturn aspecting the south node. This is breaking down and dissolving barriers to our forward movement as a result of emotional attachments to things from the past that perhaps have been stealing our power or keeping us locked in a framework where we didn't believe it was possible for us to create whatever we've decided we deserve and we have an ability to create for ourselves at this point in time. So kind of like themes along those lines as well. Saturday, I do feel like, is a day of remedies, antidotes, maybe triage and solutions coming through, especially in the context of whatever it is that we maybe have been suffering through or suffering with, or the wounds that maybe have been coming up over this past couple of days. Ironically, this sun on Saturday, as soon as the Mars Chiron square is over, moves to 10 degrees of Taurus. That Sabian symbol is a Red Cross nurse. So I do feel like there is a healing effort that is underway as, again, we are gaining this relief. The moon is no longer activating the black moon. Mars and Chiron are no longer an exact square, and the moon instead is forming the trine to the north node, facilitating an emotional release in a way that helps us to move forward in this new direction in a more practical, serious way, okay? Taking things seriously. It may not be the most upbeat energy and upbeat day. Like I said, this is kind of about recovering on this emotional level, but we are focused and working towards something of value. There's probably a strong feeling on Saturday that we really need to get organized, or like get our stuff together, or maybe like use our time more wisely. Again, just be more responsible or more reliable or maybe more mature about something. But it is this relief that I do think, again, like this energy is kind of sweeping through to the very challenging, or from the very challenging emotional energy that we've been going through up to this point in time. Also, just, helping us to extract some of the wisdom through the endurance that it's taken to get to this point in time, through whatever unfolded in the Mars Chiron energy. Let's talk about Sunday now. Moving to Sunday. Sunday is my favorite day of this weekend. I feel like even more relief is coming through in the energy on Sunday, and it's a day that we are more future focused. It's a day to focus on growth and forward momentum. This is what is being, again, emphasized. On Sunday, we have the sun at 11 degrees of Taurus. That Sabian symbol is a woman sprinkling long rows of flowers. So we are focusing on cultivating growth, okay? And we have the earth at 11 degrees of Scorpio. A drowning man is being rescued. So again, this relief effort alongside of this focus on growth and what could potentially come if we sort of like nurture and cultivate what we are discovering about ourselves, or this new direction that we want to move towards at this point in time. And also, the moon, as I said, on Sunday, the moon in Virgo is going to be forming a trine to the sun, to Mercury Retrograde, and to Uranus in the sign of Taurus. These are very harmonious energy. When we have the sun and the moon coming into a trine, things should be feeling much better. Things should sort of be falling into place. This could bring positive surprises as well, positive adjustments, positive realignments with the moon in the trine to Uranus, as opposed to, remember I said on Friday, we had this square between the moon, Mercury, Uranus, the sun. So issues, conflicts, situations that came up in the energy on Friday could find their solution, just like organically, inherently sort of like falling into place, or just like surprise presenting itself in the energy as it's coming through on Sunday. This is, of course, putting an emphasis again on this Mercury retrograde energy, right? Because we're having the trine to Mercury while the moon itself is in the sign of Virgo, ruled by Mercury. Again, a very Mercury retrograde oriented dominant day. And we are readdressing maybe and rediscovering or seeing or figuring things out that are helping us to move forward in this energy. There could be some just very surprising epiphanies or realizations or conversations or encounters or meetings, people that we run into, something that comes across our screen or something like that, that really opens our eyes to something, changes our mind about something, helps us to see something in a different way, gives us a missing piece of information perhaps that helps to clear things up. When we have the moon trining the Mercury retrograde energy, to me this is less about, especially from Virgo, I feel like this is less about the lack of clarity in regards to Mercury retrograde and more about the Mercury retrograde energy that like helps us gain new information to get a better understanding perhaps in the context of maybe things that we had been missing in the past up until this point in time. So I feel like this is a positive expression of the Mercury retrograde energy today, of energy generally. Again, things should, for the most part, be quite harmonious, and we should be feeling a lot better in terms of whatever's going on inside of us on this emotional level. Could be a day of these like aha moments, or seeing the truth or value in something that we either had neglected to see before or hadn't understood properly or were missing the context of. Also bringing an emotional alignment with the changing tastes and preferences and desires that are likely to be very prominent right now as well, while we have Mercury retrograde in the sign of Taurus, and also Mercury and Venus in a mutual reception with each other. Don't forget that as well. So we are in the season of change, the season of makeovers, the season of redesigns, the season of, again, like changing tastes, changing preferences in a way actually that frees us somehow or makes life more authentic and more comfortable, more real for us. On one level or to one extent or another. But in this Mercury moon Gemini, or I mean not Gemini, Virgo moon energy with the trine, people are also likely to be quite communicative today. Lots of thinking, lots of talking about also how to create opportunities and how to use resources, desire for options, preferences, alternatives. This is not a committal energy. I wouldn't say go ahead and like sign a contract or make a deal in this energy, but it's a good energy to talk about it. It's a good energy to brainstorm. This is tremendous brainstorming energy. Doing research, this is very good research-based energy as well. And especially, like, I feel like people are going to be talking and thinking about how they can use the resources or use their mind or use or create opportunities that generate like wealth or security or abundance or stability in some type of way. Again, this is like the solutions coming through to maybe that which was triggering these senses of like extreme insecurity or vulnerability. Like we're looking for the solution to that problem. We're being creative, we're being resourceful, we're kind of inspired in this energy, and it's Uranus being activated as well. So things might just be hitting us in terms of how to alleviate some of the discomfort or solve some of the problems perhaps that may have came through last week and in all of that Chiron energy as it was coming up. So the woman sprinkling long rows of flowers, right? We are focusing on what we are growing and what we are growing into, and the drowning man being rescued in the context of, you know, the rebirth process that's underway, where we've been saved, perhaps where we've been saved from ourselves. This is also this whole age of Aquarius, all of this transition, this whole shift and frequency-based shift that's going on is also representing the second chance at life, or the second chance at doing it right this time, the second chance of embodying our truth in a way that will create the life or lead to the life that we actually find like true fulfillment and true purpose in. Virgo, let's remember the sign of the harvester, also the healer, the grower. So growth and healing, super in the energy on Sunday, and growth and healing towards, you know, beauty, long rows of flowers, like lots of grounded earth energy. It's a great day to get outside, to work with your hands or nature, great for cultivating beauty in any type of way, nourishing things, caring things, putting energy into that which again could bring a sense of stability or abundance, or, you know, how can we use our time and our energy and our resources in a way that can create value for us in our lives some type of way. This is great for gardening, building projects, like I said, working with your hands, getting out in nature. and working with resources in a way that can create some type of practical outcome, even if it's just a beautiful picture that you paint, or even if it's just a beautiful rose bush that grows, like that contributes some type of like Taurus oriented energy to your physical reality. We're in very earth oriented vibes and the energy on both Saturday and Sunday with all of this Taurus focal point right now, Sun, North Node, Mercury, Uranus in the sign of Taurus, and the moon transiting Virgo, which is this other earth sign. So it's also, you know, could be quite comforting to focus. This energy itself very much is very much about resourcefulness, self-sustainability, simplifying things, and also, like I said, engaging with beauty, engaging with nature, the simple pleasures in life. And it's also, you know, good food and just this future focused conversation energy, like feeding the soul. Okay, that's really what we need in the energy on Friday or on Saturday and Sunday after the soul purge that we've been through all week. We need something that is truly feeding our soul. This is, again, like with this earth-based energy and all this Taurus energy and this Virgo energy, also like very sensory experiences, more sensual experiences, just, you know, finding comfort in the beauty or in, you know, the smells or in the tastes or in the feeling of things. I feel like this could help ground us and just feel more secure, and again, like bring a sense of just relief or healing or help us to grow through whatever we're going through right now in some type of a way. So very solution oriented energy, especially on Sunday, also on Saturday, re-inspiring us to keep going and to keep growing. We're so close to coming to the point of blooming. So we're sprinkling our long rows of flowers in the energy on Sunday. That's what I have to say for the energy of the weekend. You know, Friday, again, like probably, you know, it is what it is, all right? It is what it is, but whenever we're dealing with Chiron, it's ultimately about what our soul needs to grow in this transition of ages right now. We are on like a fast-paced trajectory, right? Like I said, it's like the quickening of things, like things have to happen faster. We have to go through these experiences and therefore these lessons and therefore this conscious evolution faster so that we can, it's just we're being, you know, pulled that way, or we're being magnetized rather, I guess you would say, along those lines as a result of the changing frequencies that we are being immersed with right now as universe is going through a growth spurt. That's what this is, you guys. It's an energetic growth spurt. That's what that's what shifts of ages are, and that's where we are. So that's what we're doing, and we're getting through Friday. Everything's gonna be fine. We're going to be feeling a lot better about things on Sunday. So that's what I'm going to say. I'm going to grab us a synchronicity card now. This is just going to be a little word of advice from God, Spirit, Universe, maybe something that we can focus on, a mantra, something to just ease our mind or our heart or our soul as we're going through the course of this weekend. What would be, let's see, what would be some good things for us to keep in mind? Yes, and we got this one, and it makes sense. You know, we've got Mercury retrograde, all that. Change your thoughts, which is the inner alchemy, right? It's the shifting our frame, okay? So that we are able to find the blessing in what may be perceived as or experienced as something that's not good, so that actually we can free ourselves from having to go through things like that again, okay? Change your thoughts. And it shall prosper in the thing for which I sent it, Isaiah 55:11. Whatever seed you plant will come back in its fruit. If you plant a bitter seed, you will get a bitter fruit. Sweetness will beget sweetness. Likewise, flavor your thoughts and your speech with sweetness, that you may dwell in a sweet life. Holding to your present thoughts will bring you unhappiness. So again, we want to proceed with care this weekend, and we don't want to attach to and internalize whatever may be sort of whirling around the emotional energy, either externally or within us. We want to be consciously aware of how these frequencies are affecting our equilibrium, okay, within our own energy body, within our own emotional body. We want to be observant, you know, we want to allow ourselves to feel what we're going through and to experience them, but we don't want to define our reality by them, and we want to look at them as a tool to our own growth and personal sense of self-empowerment. And any way that we can change our thoughts or adjust our mindset to help us in this process is going to help us in the overall process of experiencing the reality that is more in alignment with what we would perceive as good experiences as we go through these more complex and difficult times. So here it is again, change your thoughts. That's what I have to say today, you guys. I hope you liked it. If you did like it, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, share it with your friends if you feel like they would like this type of content, benefit from this type of thing as well. Leave me comments, you guys. I love you guys. I'm so grateful for all of you. Thank you so much for being here. If you are having experiences that are in alignment with how the energy is coming through, please let me know in my description box, or no, in my comment section below. I really value your feedback about stuff. I have a Facebook page, a Facebook group, and Instagram, some other social medias in my description box below. If you're into any of that, that's where you can follow me on the other social media platforms. And come back with me on Monday, you guys. I'm gonna have my May overview out because we're gonna be starting the month of May, and I will tell you guys, we are starting the month of May with perhaps some a highlight on information. May 1st coming in, we have Mercury Retrograde coming back into a conjunction with the Sun in the sign of Taurus, and we are really kicking off the month of May on a direct trajectory of the Sun heading towards a conjunction with Uranus. Whew. So things should be electrifying, you guys. Things should be exciting, electrifying, and we are heading into expect the unexpected season in some big ways. So that's what we have coming up, and I will be here. You should be here too. You don't want to miss it, and I will see you then, guys. Have a beautiful weekend. Remember, change your thoughts. Don't attach to what's holding you down, and keep the future focus, and I will be back with our May overview on Monday. See you then, guys.